Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of my video comparison between my iPhone and my new HTC Evo 4G. And yes, I'm back with part 3, and one of the things I want to start out with is just address some of the comments that I got with my first two videos. A lot of people talked about how I was comparing my new phone to a 3-year-old iPhone. That wasn't really fair, and let's get something straight. I'm not a professional tech blogger. I'm not a professional gadget reviewer, and this was not meant to be a definitive review to say, ha, my awesome new phone is better than my 3-year-old phone, therefore you shouldn't buy an iPhone. The purpose of the video was there's a lot of people coming out of contract on their iPhones. They're considering maybe I'll switch to Android, maybe I'll get the new iPhone that was just announced. And I wanted to put a video of my impressions as an iPhone user switching to Android and what I thought of that. So that way, hopefully, it would help people make that decision themselves. So take my videos for what they are, and don't critique them too harshly. I'm not a professional here. Also, the major points that I made in my past video: lack of access to the file system, dependence on iTunes and App Store restrictions. That would have been the same no matter what version of the iPhone I was comparing it to, whether it be the 3G, the 3GS, or the new one. I'd have the same complaints either way. So anyway, let's get into part 3 here. The reason for part 3 is I actually have some new things to mention. I want to start with accessories. A lot of people in the comments were asking me about the case. This is the platinum case. It splits down the middle. This goes on the front. This goes in the back. And here's the case. I got it at Best Buy just because it was the only, this was the only brand they were selling, and did the trick. Also on the accessory side, I was really excited to find out that the iPhone earbuds that came with my iPhone with the microphone and the hang-up switch actually works with my new phone. If you plug them in, you get a little headset guy there. That means they're working. And I've used this multiple times on calls, and I was really excited to find that out because I really enjoy that. You might be curious about the stand that I've got. It's the M2 mobile stand by Elago, elagodesign.com, ELAGO. I got it a couple months ago specifically because I knew I was going to be getting a new phone, and I wanted it to be compatible with whatever I got. And so far, it fits this phone just perfectly, and it looks good. Okay, so those are the accessories real quickly. Oh yeah, if you notice, I'm not using the case right now. There's a reason for that. Earlier today, I went ahead and installed Ghost Armor because it came today finally. Really great stuff. If you do some YouTube searches for Ghost Armor, you're going to see people taking drill bits to this stuff and taking keys and just scratching up their devices. And it's really great. One of the best things about it is this screen smudges really badly. And with the new Ghost Armor put on there, it doesn't, you can't see really smudges on it very well, so it keeps it a lot cleaner and a lot better than I think just being bare does, and it protects it. So there's that's all there is accessory wise that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was battery life. First day at work, since getting this phone was Monday. I got up at 6:30, got dressed, headed out to work at 7:30. I'm not allowed to take my phone to work with me because I work in a secure building. So this thing sat in my this thing sat in my truck all day, not being used. Finally, around 4 o'clock, I got home, and I still had full battery. Some people say, "Oh well, I left it on standby for 6 hours and it was dead." I'm not sure what's going on with those people's phones, but battery life for me has been pretty good. After I got back from work yesterday, I sat on my couch, and I just used this thing all night. I probably got about 6 straight hours of use out of this thing. I was playing games. I was surfing the web. I was sitting on the couch just using the hell out of this thing. And finally, about 11:30, I got a little message that popped up and said, less than 15% battery, please plug it in. And by then it was 11:30, it was time to go to bed, and I was plugging it in anyway. So battery life for me has not been as good as the iPhone, but it's definitely been enough to get through the day. And there's always the fact that it's a removable battery. You can carry 2 on you and replace it. So I've been pretty satisfied with the battery life. Again, not as good, but definitely not as bad as I think some people are making it out to be. I use Advanced Task Killer to kill background apps every now and then, and I've set the screen brightness to one setting. I don't have it auto adjust. One major annoyance I've had. This is my primary alarm clock. You can see it's a primary widget down there. I go and I set the alarm, and I'm good to go. Tried to do the same thing with here. If I hit the clock widget, it takes you here. Set the alarm, turns it on. Back to the home screen, turns it off. Alarm clock never went off. So I did some experimenting. Set the alarm clock for like 2 minutes later, turned it off, didn't go off. Turns out, in order to have the alarm clock on this thing actually work, you have to set the alarm, turn it on, and then go to the desk clock, which leaves the device on, just kind of like this, little, subdued, so it's not keeping you up at night. That's what you have to do in order to make the alarm work. I'm not sure why that is. I might try some different alarm clock apps in the marketplace, see if those don't have the same problem. But as far as the native alarm clock on this thing, not impressed. Really annoyed. That's the other one. Video calls. This thing is advertised and came with the Quick app. I haven't tried it. Don't plan on using it. I don't know anyone that uses the Quick applications, but I did use Fring. Fring allows you to use Skype to make Skype calls, because that's the one I use to contact my parents so they can see the grandkids and all that stuff. And tonight I made about a 25-minute Skype call to my parents' desktop computer using this device, and they were impressed. They said the quality was just about as good as a desktop to desktop PC call, and one negative about it was the Fring software doesn't have any noise cancellation, any echo cancellation, so I had to plug in my headphones in order to keep them from getting an echo on their own dialogue. But other than that, it worked great. The picture was good, and I can see myself definitely making good use of that while deployed or on TDY or wherever the military decides to send me. I want to compare the difference in home screens between these two devices. It always cracks me up. People talk about Android not being as intuitive as iPhone, and I don't really understand that. It seems like the same interface to me. You got a 4x4 grid where you can put apps on there. The only difference is Android gives you the option of widgets as well. For quick access, I got a music widget there, and bookmarks widget, friends widget, or favorites widget for my contacts. I've also got widgets for my different cell radios, turn them on and off, search widget. A lot more options than just the 4x4 grid. One of the things that iPhone 4 is getting is the option to do folders. I got folders too. The only difference is I can't name these folders, which I think is kind of a downer. It'd be nice if I could name them. This is my games folder, but all in all, about the same interface. Now, one of the areas where does get less intuitive is if I go into settings. Settings on an iPhone are pretty straightforward. It's not very intimidating, and settings can be intimidating to people. If I go to settings on this phone, there's a lot of options, and there's submenus to submenus, and it took me a little time to get used to where things were at. So if you need to spend any time tinkering in the settings, this could be more daunting for somebody coming from an iPhone platform. Not to say it's complicated, it was definitely manageable, but it wasn't as stupid simple as the iPhone was. So that's a comparison of the home screens between the two and my experience. And obviously iPhone 4 is going to get backgrounds, not live wallpapers like this, but you will be able to put backgrounds and customize.